I call the meeting to order. At this time, it's Wednesday, May 15th, 2013. Council meeting called to order. At this time, Pastor Mark Townsend, pastor of St. Andrew's Lutheran Church, is going to give us our invocation. The Pledge of Allegiance will be we'd be honored by the Police Explorers and Vice Mayor Burgess. If you would all please rise. Councilman Williams, will you stand in for Pastor?
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we thank you today. Give you praise and glory. We thank you for the citizens and your community. We pray, oh God, that this meeting will be productive and that it will be decent and in order. We ask your divine guidance over our city leaders, our employees, our residents, and we'll be careful to give you all glory. Amen.
Everybody, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the greatest nation on earth. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order. Right, please. Over. Mark.
Thank you, and please be seated. Okay, first item on the agenda is we're going to go into public comment. And public comment is things that are not on the agenda. So let's don't get into annexation. Oh, I'm sorry. Call the roll.
Here. There.
Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick.
Here.
Councilman Williams. Here. Councilwoman Norman.
Trying to reach her.
We got to get her back on, but she was there.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Here.
Mayor Bateman.
Here. Okay, again, public comment is going to be our first item on the agenda. 3 years ago, we moved this from the last item to the first item to make it convenient for our citizens. So again, tonight it's about items that are not on the agenda. At this time, you'll come forward in 2 minutes. We got a big crowd tonight. 2 minutes. We had a clock over there. State your name and address.
Welcome.
Wait,
Ed
yeah.
Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane in Northgate. I've got two hats tonight, so I'll be quick. First hat is Homestead Power Squadron. I have in my hands a proclamation that the city gave to us last year, and it says safe boating for May 19 through 20, 2012. This year, Safe Boating Week will be March 18th to the 24th. And as a Power Squadron, we're here to promote safe boating. We're looking for a membership. We will be involved with the city and the Military Appreciation Day. We'll have a booth there, and we're going to hand out materials about boating, courses, etc. Second item. Being heavily involved with the Military Affairs Committee, Mr. Shelley, the mayor, we have what is called a meet and greet. It's once a month. It's at the air base. We get the military and civilians involved, very successful. Well, we came up with the idea, let's do something different. Let's do a casino night. Well, casino night, we went to the racetrack and said, Mr. Al Garcia, the vice president, would you like to let us use your Champions Club for a casino night for a fundraiser for the military? He said that was a great idea. July 12th, we will hold a military affairs meet and greet casino night. There will be information available I want to give little cards to the council, the mayor. And Mr. Shelley, I'm just going to say that Military Appreciation Day coming up, the Military Affairs Committee has worked with the city and Mr. Shelley in putting that together. We will have a display there, and I'll let you tell them about what we're doing as far as some vouchers and stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Before we go on, I'd like to recognize State Rep Eric Fresen. Is Eric in the audience? Somebody said they saw a look-like of Eric Fresen.
Put it outside.
I've got an item.
Okay. Also, I'd like to recognize Frank Balzira. Frank, are you in the audience still? He works for he's an aide to the mayor of Dade County, and he's been extremely helpful in moving things forward for us through the Department of Durham and wastewater. We thank both of you. And when Mr. Fresen comes back in, we'll break for him. Sir, go ahead. Your turn.
Council members, Mr. Mayor, guests, think about this. Public speaking is the #1 fear of most people today. That means that at a funeral, you'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. My name is Richard Urshek from 2388 South 17th Terrace. I'm the Vice President of the Homestead Toastmasters Club. We provide a friendly and supportive learning program to help you get over the fear of public speaking to friends, family, and business associates. We invite you to visit one of our meetings and see what we're all about. We meet every Tuesday morning from 7:30 to 8:30 at the Community Bank Building just south of the Coral Castle. It doesn't cost anything to visit, and I'm sure you'll find your time well spent. I have some additional information in the back of the room if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And Mrs. Ed Powell.
My name is Clara Waterman Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane. I'm here to say thank you. We were gone for a few weeks, and when we came back to Homestead, my heart burst with pride. It's beautiful. The trees are gorgeous, the landscaping. You don't really appreciate this town till you come back to it. I want to say I used to be sad to be a member of Homestead. I am proud to be a citizen of Homestead. I just want to applaud the council and the mayor.
Thank you.
I also want to say thank you. I am so impressed that you got the road double-lined, or whatever you call it, laned, by the preparatory school. Mary Road is now beautiful. Again, thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Thank you. And if I may interrupt just a minute again, Mr. Fresen, State Rep Fresen, please come forward, and the microphone's yours. Say a few words for us. Come on. This is the gentleman who is not even in our district, that every time I'm in Tallahassee, he reaches out and helps me in some way, somehow.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your kind words, Mayor and residents of Homestead. It's a pleasure to always be here in the city, and thank you, Mayor and council members, for always being so kind when you come up to Tallahassee. I got summoned from outside, so I thought I was actually going to get spanked or something when I came in here, but thank you so much for the recognition. And as the Mayor said, we're all part of one community, Miami-Dade County, regardless of districts, and I stand here ready to serve your city and all the wonderful municipalities in the county in Miami-Dade County. So thank you, sir.
You do a great job. Thank you very much.
Mayor, Council, my name is Mark Bell. I live at 343 Northwest 19th Street in Homestead. I'm here tonight because I'm concerned. There's been a rumor going around that they're not going to put City Hall where you guys promised to put City Hall. And I'm very concerned about that. The rumor was, it was on the front page of the news leader that...
Well, you know it's a rumor then.
Well... A lot of the quotes were taken from you guys up there about this might be a good idea. All right? And I'm here to say, I sat in a meeting, I'm not exactly sure of the date, about 6 months ago, when you guys said we're going to do it where it was supposed to be built the first time, where you tore down a viable business and put people out of work. You were going to build City Hall there. Now the rumors flying around that maybe we're not going to do that again. I also got information that the first time that went out to bid, 20 contractors bid on it. This time only 5 or 6. And the reason was the contractors were called, and the reason was given is that they don't think you guys are for real. Now, I'm a concerned citizen. We need to revitalize downtown Homestead. You guys promised you were going to do it, and if this is a rumor, we need to put it to rest and do what you guys promised to do and build City Hall downtown like you said you were going to do. Thank you very much.
Well, let me clarify on my side of it. I've been very clear from day one, and you know it. From day one, I have been adamantly against spending $30 million of their tax dollars on a city hall that is too big and a Taj Mahal. So if you want to spend $30 million, vote. But I'm voting no. I've always been a no, and I'm not going to change my vote. There's a handful of you that came last time, threatened me, gave me a hard time because I wanted to speak my piece and vote the way I want to vote. And that's my right. I got elected to vote my conscience and protect the fiduciary responsibility of the taxpayers of this community. Let me tell you, I've been on this council 3 times, and 2 times we were bankrupt. Bankrupt. This is the first time we've had $20 million plus in the bank. So you're not getting my vote. So you must be talking about these people, because I voted no. Thank you. Most of you don't even live in Homestead that come here complaining about it.
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. Hello, council.
You and
hello,
5
mayor.
others.
And it's amazing, amazing. First of all, you didn't even show up. You were conveniently absent from the vote.
Excuse me, can we just have your name and address for
I'm
the
sorry,
record?
Michelle Pedersen at 29430 Southwest 172 Avenue. I'm also a business owner, and I pay taxes, and I'm invested in the downtown area. And there seems to be a prevailing attitude generated from you, Mayor, and you're now putting a figure of $30 million.
Well, we haven't opened it. I'll tell you what, I'll do a friendly bet with you. I'll bet you it's $30 million plus.
Okay, well, I have the floor right now. You don't have to be rude.
Well, I'm not being rude.
Yes,
You're the
you
one who's
are.
being rude.
You're rude.
Called 5 of my friends to try to
Okay.
come talk against me. Bring them on.
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse
I
me.
don't
They
know what- I
called
don't know
me
what you
and
said.
told me you called them.
No.
Yes,
actually,
they did.
no.
Yes, they did.
No.
Yes, they did.
Um,
So you can call all you want to
okay,
call.
you can spout out rumors and
Any rumors is
innuendos
fact.
and, okay, right.
fact.
Anyways, my encouragement is to the rest of the council, since he is an obvious no to any prospective
$30 million.
development. I wish you, I know you represent the city of Homestead and you're a leader here. I really
I am.
wish you would learn civility.
Yeah,
Because
well,
you lack it as a leader.
Well-
But I'm addressing the rest of the council, and I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you. We're there day in and day out, and we've been there for over 12 years. And I see what's happened. We have the empty buildings. We have for sale signs, lease signs, all up and down Chrome Avenue and Washington Avenue and the other areas of Southwest Homestead. And I am tired of going to places in this community and say, oh, they're not deserving of a new state-of-the-art professional building. Let's just bulldoze it down. I heard that just a week ago at a store here in Homestead. And we are all deserving of our historic downtown being saved. It's in survival mode, and it's been in survival mode for over 6-7 years, and we're struggling. You don't have a vested interest, okay, in downtown Homestead. We do. And we employ people from this area. And I just want to challenge you to continue on the course that you're on and live up to the commitment that you voted on, okay? Because I believe in it being restored and the symbolic image that a city hall has for downtown. And I just want to encourage you to continue the course, despite what the mayor says.
Thank you. But you don't do that at any cost. That's the difference. You don't do that at any cost. The last two city halls that have been built in Dade County were built for $11 million apiece, not $30 million.
Kevin Pedersen, 29430 Southwest 172 Avenue. My wife. Sir, that was rude. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You want to yell? Yell at me. I'd appreciate
It's
that.
not yelling, it's facts.
Okay. Nearly 30 years of federal law enforcement in service to our country, the United States Army. And I've never seen my family insulted like that. And I think you owe her an apology.
I apologize.
All right. I'd like to remind the council they are invited to the Law Enforcement Appreciation Breakfast that we're holding on June 29th at Westminster Christian School. We'd like to see all our civic leaders there. It's a mending of the faith community along with the business community to honor all sworn, retired, and active law enforcement officers. We love them. We want to appreciate them. Turning to downtown City Hall. My 30 years of involvement with federal service in the government, I've seen the best of the federal government, local government, I've seen the worst. There's been discussions about not building City Hall now and building a new police department, which I understand the police department needs a new police department. I've had the benefit of bringing many people to that police department in handcuffs. It didn't bring any commerce to downtown to bring those prisoners to downtown, okay? But we do need a new police department. But I will say this. I get it. I go to work every day at my wife's Goodyear store now that I retired last year from the federal government. And I get to see what's right across the street. And I get to show my customers. And I do show my customers. I say, you want to see a failure of government? Look across the street. Downtown, center of the city, an empty lot. That used to be commerce. There was a supermarket there. There was a medical center there. People were going to work. And then people ran on mottos of jobs, jobs, jobs. So we killed the jobs are gone, and we got an empty lot. I hope you all, we were in a meeting of a lot of businessmen just the other day who are concerned about this. We want to help y'all. We want to help y'all keep your promise. Please don't be one of those who voted against something before I voted for it, or vote for something after I voted against it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Yvonne Knowles. I'm the Director of Homestead Main Street. Our mission statement is historic preservation and economic revitalization, and it's nothing new for me to come here and support the City Hall downtown. I'd be fighting my own mission statement if I didn't do this, so I'm here in support of the City Hall downtown. I'd like to put this into perspective of what we have at hand in regards to the downtown City Hall. The city has just celebrated its 100th birthday. A city that is vibrant and diverse in its people and its architectural heritage. A community that stretches from the farmlands of South Florida to the U.S. Air Force Reserve Base and Biscayne Bay. Connecting that entire expanse is a time capsule of a historic downtown, which other cities can only emulate through new development. They have to plan and design with new development what we already have. What better opportunity to have at the city's central core than a beautiful city hall? Historically speaking, most downtowns are equipped with a central downtown government, except ours. Most historic cities have planned for this over the past 100 to 200 years, except ours. We have all the pieces of the puzzle coming together to create a wonderful government center for all to be part of and to enjoy and be proud of. A government center set up in a strip mall is not the historic model for a city celebrating its 100th birthday. There is also a tremendous traffic problem with the location just off of Camp Drive. Although there are pros and cons to each location, the real pro is that we have an opportunity and duty to create a landmark for Homestead and for its citizens. Please bring City Hall downtown. Thank you. And hopefully not $30 million.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Rochnell. I'm living 1712 Northeast 8th Street in Homestead. I'm also owner of Homestead Security Management Group, located on Flagler Avenue. I'm here also to support the business leaders concerning moving the City Hall to what I've read on the paper. I'm concerned about moving the City Hall to the retail area, which is, I feel that if we build the City Hall in downtown area, that will bring the jobs, visitors, that way you can spend more money in this area, where that way we can hire in more people to strengthen our economy. So I'm pleased if you vote against the City Hall. We consider to bring the City Hall to the downtown area. That way it could be the historical for our children, your children. But by moving the City Hall to the commercial area will not be benefits the community. If you, the council member, if you make the decision we consider to bring the City Hall back, I think we will make the right decision. But if you vote against it, I think you have to think twice before you make that decision. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Should we build it at any cost? At any cost, should we build it?
Well,
should we build it for more money than we even have in the bank?
I could ask you another question. Is there any study on how much that will cost?
More than we've got. But I just want to know, should we build it at any cost? Just vote yes to build it at any cost.
But I think if we spend the money where we are at the retail area, instead of building this, we will cost us more money.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. My name is Kathleen Hegney, and I'm the Youth and Family Program Director at the Homestead YMCA. Summer is just around the corner, and we can feel the buzz at the Y as we train over 40 enthusiastic child care professionals to serve almost 300 children each week at our summer camps. Our return campers are so excited to get back to their camp counselors and all of the summer fun that the camps offer. The Y lobby has been filled with high fives and hugs as campers come to register and are reunited with their beloved counselors. We believe that the summer camp experience is a continuation of the learning environment and an opportunity for kids to grow and develop in a safe, active place where they can discover new interests and challenge themselves to try new things. We have 3 camps right here in Homestead: Explorer Camp, Sports Camp, and this year we're offering a Junior Marine Biology Camp. And these will be serving children from the ages of 5 to 15 this summer. Our camp team is so proud to be serving the children and families in the Homestead community and have worked hard all year round to prepare for camp and also to provide assistance to families. We know there are some families who do not have the resources to afford camp. The YMCA is committed to no family being turned away based on an inability to pay. Last year alone, we provided $121,000 in financial assistance to support our community and send children to summer camp. So if you have friends or neighbors, let them know the Y is here and we are ready to take on summer. But I'll give you one little disclaimer. They might see an extra ½ inch on their child's doorway growth chart. They don't need to worry. That's just because our campers walk out with their shoulders back and their heads held just a little bit higher each day. So if your doctor asks, just tell them your child went to Y camp. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I think you do an outstanding job. My son went many years to your summer camp, and you've done a great job. Thank you so much for what you do for our children.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Robert Barnes, architect, 221 North Chrome Avenue, Homestead. I'm also president of Main Street, so I'm here supporting City Hall downtown. As you know, historically, all you have to do is follow our heritage to see where you should be. And the ridge that runs through South Florida runs right through the middle of downtown. It's a high ridge. Portofino sits on a bunch of muck near wetlands, and it just goes on from there. We now have a bus corridor that'll become a rapid transit center one day for our grandchildren. It's the major link to all of bureaucracy and government in South Florida. A downtown is the place for civic and entertainment and education. But I would like to talk also a little bit about not the logical urban context of why City Hall belongs downtown and not in a shopping center. But I would like to answer your question about should you build at any cost.
Mm-hmm. Please.
And I'd have to say, as an architect with 34 years of experience, I've handled hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects in my 34 years. And some of them are bigger than the City Hall project that's happening right now, if it happens, which we expect it to. But anyone with a little common sense would realize that a developer that built a shopping strip mall building at the height of the economy for a certain price, then the city should surely be able to build something equivalent downtown Homestead for that price or less. And I'll be happy to sit down with anybody in your administration to discuss economics, and I'm sure when you get a pencil out and a calculator, it'll prove out that downtown is a much better place immediately and in the future. So I think that, you know, I'm just a person in the community that adds to the community. You're the ones that make the decisions. And if you make knee-jerk reaction decisions and pick a building that costs $30 million instead of rolling up your sleeves and doing this community its right justice and bringing that building into a realistic price with quality work that surpasses the work out at the Portofino building. The Portofino building is not a Cat 5 building. It's not an emergency center. Putting the police station, City Hall together on a major corridor of the busway, which is a transit center in the future, is a wise decision that'll last you for hundreds of years, not 10 years and $10 million. Thank you. So it is your responsibility to make good, strong decisions and not just take whatever's available at a certain price.
Robert, you make a lot of sense. The bottom line is you're making the same sense I'm making, because $30 million will break us to a point where I promise you we will be raising taxes, and then the public will be back here twice as thick.
I think what we want you to promise us is that you'll build City Hall downtown for a reasonable price.
That sounds right to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Hopefully I can change the monotony in here a little. I'm not here to talk about the City Hall. Good afternoon to you and the City Council and everyone in their respective places. My name is Lynette Williams. I'm currently a resident of the City of Homestead. I also am employed here at Homestead by Dade County Public Schools. I'm in a classroom with TMH students and with autism kids. We correspond with those kids. And it's getting towards the end of the year. And we know that we're tight for money and everything in schools, and everyone knows here that, you know, the school systems, we're running on empty as the City Hall. And we're asking at the end of the year, we want to do a graduation something for our students. And right now, we're trying to take them to the Roscoe Warren Park across.
That's on the agenda. So that's going to come next.
told.
That's all right. Just sit tight. We're going to move from one. We're going to move you to the first.
Okay.
All right? Because we're going to vote on that.
I'm sorry,
That's
but at
all
least I
right.
changed the atmosphere.
That's all right. Now, thank you, though, for changing
Mayor.
the atmosphere.
Mayor, since I think that's a pretty simple item, if you would, I would go ahead and make a motion right now to move tab 11, and we could take care of that right now. So that
We'll move
this
tab 11 to
young lady
public
who's
comment.
here
I don't know
giving.
if we do that to public comment. Yeah. Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
The item tonight is to waive the fees at Roscoe Warren Park.
It's for Pavilion 1, 2, and 3 for 120 students. Thank you so
Gotcha.
much.
Okay. All in, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We got that aye, Mr. Manager? Yes, sir. Hey, how you doing?
Good, good.
Good to see
Mayor
you.
and council, my name is Russell Black. I am the pastor of New Thing Fellowship Church here in Homestead, and I come in representation of a group of pastors in the Homestead area. We would like to propose a integral health fair to take place on August the 10th. It will be planned for Harris Field, and we're going to do this in conjunction with several different organizations. I believe you have the handout there. One of the organizations is going to be Channel 23 Univision. And then, as you see in the list there, several different hospitals, including Homestead Hospital, Miami Children's Hospital, Baptist Hospital, several churches in the area, and even some churches outside of the area. And what we propose is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. that afternoon to provide free of charge to many people in the community all of the services, the health services that are listed there. And this isn't a religious event. It's an outreach event that we want to just bless the community. There's a lot of people in need in this community, and we would like to work together with these different entities to host this and organize it so that we can be of service to this community.
Thank you. That's another waiver. We need to come back through Park and Recs with that. Okay, we'll put that on for the agenda for next month. Because
Okay.
it's not going to happen until what, July?
August the 10th.
August.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll have that back on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
All right? And then we'll vote on that.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you. Give us a chance to look it over, give the manager a chance to look over the paperwork. Because I have already brought it to him, but he needed a little more information than what we had the day I brought it.
Okay.
So thank you, and thank you guys for continuing year after year to come and bless our city hall, and so you do a great job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening to the mayor and the entire staff of our commissioners who serve us so well. I am the Reverend Samuel Lee Sullivan, the pastor of the Greater New Mount Zion African Methodist Episcopal Church. I reside at 550 Southwest 10th Avenue. Mr. Mayor, I come tonight, first of all, to say thank you to you and the entire council for the support that you have given Mount Zion. It seems to be that great minds think alike. Our proposal or request for partnership is similar to the one that just preceded us. On the third Sunday in May, we will be celebrating our Family and Friends Day. As a part of that, on the third Saturday in May, we have a vision for having a health fair. I'm sorry, July, excuse me. I've been doing May all day and I'm still stuck in May, but please remember July. And what the vision is to offer a fun event over on our side, but we want to offer health screenings, and we are in the process of fostering a relationship with the county that, if not on this particular date of our Family and Friends Day, somewhere down the road, we may be able to partner with them to provide free immunizations right before the school term takes in. That's in the process. The partnership that we're requesting tonight from the city is the use of the FICO Williams Center, maybe from about 10 to maybe 2 that afternoon, to provide free screenings for individuals of our community. It is open for everyone, but our primary concern now is the constituency of the southwest quadrant of the city. The other thing we're looking at also is to foster relationships with other organizations that have the same mindset. In other words, a few of us have come together and we want to be a catalyst for change in our community. One of the events that we have come up with is a march similar to the marches that were led by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in reference to taking back our community. I have a flyer here, and the flyer states, "Unity in our community. Come join us as we march, pray, and sing on behalf of our beloved community. March against violence, drugs, and other societal evils which prey upon and seek to victimize our families and our neighbors." On July the 20th, 2013, staging area will be at the Greater New Mount Zion AME Church, 890 Southwest 4th Street. For additional information, contact Reverend Samuel E. Sullivan. My email is godlyfire490@gmail.com, and contact Brother Winston Ellington, area code 305-244-4114, in reference to additional information. We are inviting and will invite and seeking partnerships from everyone across the city. Although in our particular neighborhood, we might be in a situation where we have a lot of occurring circumstances that seek to threaten the public safety, we want to invite as many individuals from across the city of Homestead so we can unite, put down our ethnic heritage, put down our religious affiliation, and come together as a group of concerned individuals so we can advocate for a better quality of life over in the quadrant where we reside, where we live, where we worship, and where we work. So it is a purpose for me to come before this council to request partnership with the city, the use of the FICO Williams Center, and any other logistical support that the city could give to us that would help us make this the first of many community gatherings where we put down all of the things that separate us and come together as citizens of the city of Homestead for a better life for all of the individuals who live in this great city.
Pastor Sullivan, that's beautiful. And we've met several times on this.
Yes.
And what we need to do, Madam Clerk, if you will take the information, he'll come back tomorrow, the next day, give her the sheet on it, and let's get it back on the agenda for next month, all right? So we can get this voted on properly for the FICO Williams and whatever else that you feel that the city can do to help you put this event together. I think it's very important that we do it.
All right, thank you, sir. And if there's anyone that's interested, I have a few flyers with me tonight. And like I say, I want this to be the catalyst for several events that bring us together in a holistic fashion as inhabitants, residents, homeowners, business owners, worshipers in the city of Homestead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor.
Good evening. I'm Steve DeGrave. I own a business on 28 South Chrome, downtown, which I'm very proud to be part of downtown. This is Ruth Campbell here. Everybody knows Ruth. She's the most wonderful lady in all of Homestead.
Yay, Ruth.
It was 8 years ago that I came to Homestead looking around, all over. I had a liquor license for Dade County. I wanted to find out where I wanted to use it, and I went every place from South Beach down as far as you could go. And I decided on Homestead, downtown Homestead, because to me, it was a diamond in the rough. It was, a downtrodden area. It wasn't together, and yet it had so much potential. I looked around and I saw these buildings that are gorgeous, that a lot of other cities don't have. And the other cities that do have buildings like this have embraced them and done everything they can to make beautiful spots out of them. You look at downtown Melbourne just a few years ago was horrible. It was all boarded up and things like that. Now it's beautiful. They have a beautiful archway sign going in there that the city put up. They have other, they've encouraged businesses. They've done everything they can to encourage business. And one of the reasons I picked Homestead was because at that time, they dangled a carrot in front of me saying that City Hall was coming downtown. I'm like, holy crap, City Hall comes downtown. That's it. That's what it needs. That's going to be perfect, And so I bought the building. Probably paid too much money for it, but I bought the building. And you know, I renovated it and I opened up and I waited, and all of a sudden, no, City Hall's not coming downtown. It's okay, well, I'll do the best I can. And years later, they dangled that carrot in front of me again, and this time I was at the vote. We're not going to say it was a unanimous vote, but it was a vote. That City Hall is coming downtown, and it was just ecstatic. So once again, now, you know, I was already in the process of remodeling anyways. Now I said, I'm going to do this right. I'm just going to really put a lot of money into place because City Hall's coming downtown. This is fabulous, you know? And now all of a sudden, the wind is being taken out of my sails again. Now, I don't care if you spend $30 million or $20 million or $17 million or $11 million. You know, that's your guys' decision on what you want to do and how much you want to spend. You know the finances, you know what's affordable. I know you all agreed on the plans that were there before. I don't know what they came in as bids at. If they came in ridiculous, I agree with you. Don't be ridiculous. But bring City Hall downtown. Don't put it in a shopping center. It's an embarrassment to have it in a shopping center. I mean, you know, Key West has got theirs at a shopping center right now, and they're like this, and they're going to rebuild their City Hall. They've already got a building that they're going to renovate downtown. Not that they need it downtown down there, but they are going to renovate an old building that they had, and it was a school at one time. And they're going back. They're getting out of the shopping center business. And the last thing the city of Homestead needs to do is get back in the real estate business more. I mean, to buy another property that you're becoming a landlord with, you got all sorts of problems with it that we don't even get into. It's not the right thing to do. And as far as putting the police station over there, where the City Hall is supposed to be, that will do us absolutely no good business. I mean, the police station is right next door to me. The only people I get there are the ones that park in my parking spot to walk inside and complain about their spouses or kids or whatever, you know. And they're not going to help downtown at all. I mean, here's a suggestion that we threw out. But if you want to move the police station, and I think they do deserve a bigger, better building, put it where the bowling alley is. You own the bowling alley anyways. I mean, it's just a matter of renovation. You got lots of parking there. It would work. And I think it would be a very good spot for the police station. And also as a bonus, when you did that, if and when you do move the police station there, everyone's complaining about parking downtown forever. I hear that every day. And I'd say, you know, the locals know where to park, you know, and they do. But if we're going to increase downtown like it should, guess who's got a ton of parking lots out back? As the police department. And if they move, you've got automatic built-in parking lots. You don't even have to build them. You're going to save all that money. So, you know, I don't care what you do as long as you bring City Hall downtown. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal, but it has to be downtown. That's my feelings and the feelings of pretty much everybody I talk to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you can see, Steve chose us. There are very few little old city halls downtown that you can see around that are 100 years old and still there. I'm hoping that we will have the city hall at whatever price. If we don't like the one we have now, we can build another one. But I hope you think seriously about keeping it downtown where we're looking at that gate with the way we have a screen around it and we can see it there. And I hope you'll be able to see it. And if it's the money, I know how you can do that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Good evening. Gary Ferguson, 15 Southeast 2nd Drive, Homestead, Florida. Lived here all my life and proud of it. I had the privilege of, thank you, of being chairman of the Federal Empowerment Zone here for about 5-6 years, and our main focus was to bring money from the federal government into the impoverished area of the city of Homestead. And one of our main focuses was the busway. That would bring commerce and, however, to our community. The present site where City Hall is proposed to be is not an accident that it's on the busway. It's there for a reason. Let's look at Government Center, downtown Miami. Everything goes right there, and that's a plan, and that's a well-formed plan. I think we spend in the neighborhood of between $10 and $12 million in this area And what the city hall would do would just pale that. My main thing is you folks made a promise. Everybody that was present voted unanimously to do this, bring City Hall there, and we're trying to move forward with that. And promises are made, they need to be kept. You keep saying that $30 million is too much. I think you might be underestimating the value of where the City Hall is now on that property. But I have talked with other architects about plans. Plans can be altered and changed. You can take $5 million off of it like that and add it on later. But the main thing is you need to build it. You need to build it where you planned it, because that was a plan 10 years ago by previous council, and you need to leave a legacy for the ones that are 20 years from now. Now, maybe 30 years from now there might be a metro rail here, and it's going to drop off, and it needs to be where it's at. One of the best suggestions I heard tonight was moving the police station where the bowling alley is. I think that's a great idea. But please, just keep your word. A lot of people are expecting you to do that, and we need to move forward with that plan. It's a good plan. Stay with it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Sales, 28220 Southwest 158th Avenue. I'm a state certified general contractor, and I would like to request that you explore the possibility of adopting the same procurement rules as Miami-Dade County, the City of Miami, Miami Beach. Currently, all your projects require payment and performance bond, even if it's a $10,000 project. In the county, or in the major cities, projects up to $100,000 do not require payment and performance bond, which rules out a lot of the smaller contractors who are qualified, who reside in the city and could do business with the city and grow along with the city, but are precluded, and only the big guys, because at this point in time, the surety business is completely closed. They're not bonding anyone. And if they bond you, you have to come up with the same amount of cash. In other words, if you need a $100,000 bond, you have to have $100,000 in the bank. If I have $100,000, why do I need a bond? So if possible, I would like you to explore the possibility of adopting the same rules as the county. Don't put the city in jeopardy. I understand you do this to protect the city. But by the same token, I've been doing business with the county, the city, and everyone else concerned for many, many years, and I don't see them get stuck with any projects.
No, I hear you loud and clear. I think that we're way too tough on that, in that aspect. And it precludes a lot of local contractors from doing anything for us. Some of our rules are extremely strict, and we need to take a look at that. I agree with you.
I thank you very much.
We do have the 15% preferential treatment for all local businesses in Homestead, which allows them to bid within 15% of the lowest bid and go and take the lowest bid away from an out-of-town contractor. And we need to get better at it. We need to get better at it. At the meeting at Palmetto Middle School last week on the $1.2 billion, is eloquent of a speaker as the superintendent is. He made it very clear, loud and clear, $1.2 billion will be used, $1.2 million will be used for Dade County people only. If you're out of Dade County, don't bother bidding. And he received a tremendous round of applause because, again, if you don't take care of your own, you can't take care of anybody else.
Hi, my name is Jessica Oaxaca from Chefs on the Run, 10 East Maury Drive in downtown Homestead. I have a lot of things to say, and I'm looking at the timer. One of them is, of course, I agree that it has to be affordable, and I would love for downtown Homestead to have a majestic building down there for an affordable price. I also want to speak to everyone who's new here or who's watching to start to support more your local businesses. I feel that downtown Homestead also needs the support of homesteaders. that don't know what there is to do, and they go to Kendall or Miami Beach, and there's 3 places that have live music every weekend. There's Stickenstein's. You can watch a free fight the other night, which I think is amazing. And I think that downtown Homestead has a lot to offer. I think that if you haven't stopped by Chefs on the Run, of course, stop by. But I also believe that it doesn't show class to be in a shopping center. So hopefully you guys can find a happy medium and move it down there, and maybe you can do something else. I don't know, but I would really like downtown Homestead to have that, and I know that the police station needs to be there. I believe that all the councilmen want what's better for the city, and I know that you guys are concerned about the budget, and I believe that you guys can do that. It's just, like they said, we were promised it, number 1, and number 2 is the city needs resuscitation. It needs it bad. That's it. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
I want to compliment you because you do a great job. Your restaurant is really moving quick, and I enjoy it when I go. I can tell you, if it'll make you feel better, regardless of my vote on it, is it's moving forward. Nothing has changed. It's the same
Good,
status
thank you.
quo. The bids haven't been open, the 5 or 6 or whatever it is. I mean, if they've been open, the number hasn't been revealed to us. But I'm just telling you what you hear on the street every day, and it's not pretty financially. So that's where my concern is. My heart and my passion is in a balanced budget and a clean,
Where it should be.
and viable city for you. I've been here on the short end of the stick 2 times, and it's not a pretty situation. I've been here when our taxes were 8.5. Today they're 6.29. That's a long ways from where it was back in 1995 up to 2000. And in 2000, I don't know if you remember Merritt Sterheim coming down here and said, "Where's the $10 million that you said was at budget time?" $10 million negative. And today we're $28 million positive. So that's a long ways from where we were. And I guess from experience, I speak with passion because I don't want to be back there. Not for any $30 million city hall. I don't want to be back on the broke side. Call me conservative, whatever. That's my vote. I'm 1 vote. I'm only 1 vote. So I can't hurt these 5 votes, 6 votes that are up here. They can vote their conscience. But then you got to live it.
Well, hopefully, I'm, like I said, I think that all the councilmen want what's better for the city, and I'm pretty sure that they're probably choosing an affordable way, and that's what I hope for. But again, I want to encourage anybody who hasn't been to downtown Homestead, and I've been saying this for a while. Also, if anybody has any ideas to revamp downtown Homestead, I know that there's places that they can email where they can find out and think of new things for downtown Homestead, because it really needs. I'm not saying anything against the other side of US 1, but I was born and raised here, and I remember when there were shops, and I remember when there was more life, and I hope it just comes back.
But think, we've been through a very, very tough recession.
I know.
A very tough time. And in the 3.5 years of that recession, we did not raise the taxes 1 time. We went through the toughest economy probably in our lifetime, mine and yours, without raising the city taxes 1 penny. We did not reduce the level of services 1 bit. In fact, we increased the level of services.
Well, with saying that, then I'm sure that all of you guys will figure out how to put it in affordable,
I hear you.
and instead of more than what you have. I mean, nobody wants to bite off more than they can chew, and of course the city doesn't, and since you haven't raised taxes in 3 years like you just said, and you've made it affordable, then I'm sure you'll find an affordable way to do
Thank you.
that. Thank you guys, bye.
Mr. Shelley.
Thank you, Mayor. No, one thing I wanted to point out is that the process is still going forward. That despite the chatter and the things that are going on, the process that was put in place months ago is still proceeding forward. And so I'd like to ask the manager to maybe, to the extent that you can, given the cone of silence, let everyone know where we are in the process and what's coming up down the pipeline, since we have a lot of people here that are interested in City Hall and the progression of it. If you could just keep everybody informed as far as where we're headed.
Sure. Basically, we don't, as staff, we follow direction of the elected body. So once we get direction, we follow it until direction changes. So at this point, as directed by the elected body, we have solicited proposals for the construction of a new city hall in the downtown. We received 5 proposals. From there, I have assembled a committee of staff to review those proposals. The committee has met once. They've received all the packets. They're in the process of reviewing those packets. At some point, they'll meet again, hear the proposals, discuss the proposals, come back with a ranking and a recommendation for one of the proposers, and then that comes to me. I consider the material, I make a recommendation to the elected body, and then I present that to you, and then you all deliberate. And that's the process, and unless we're given a different direction.
And do we have a time frame as far as when that process may be completed and it'd be back before us?
Jerry?
Through the manager, yes, on June 4th, the review committee will convene and give their recommendation.
To the council itself?
To the manager, and then the manager will bring it to council.
Okay, so a couple months out. Okay, thank
About
you.
a month, just under a month out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Any further questions from the public? Okay. At this time, we'll move into our council meeting, and we took care of that item 11, so additions, deletions, or deferrals. Do we have any? Wasn't there one added?
What happened to number?
What happened to
I
number
think
one?
there's an addition dealing with the presentation on the discriminatory lending practices.
Okay. Motion to move it on? I move it?
Move it.
Second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Let's go ahead and, you want to start with that now, John? That's your item, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and take that.
Sure.
Is the gentleman here?
David, still here, yes.
Please, come forward.
Just for everybody, several, I guess about a month or so ago, I was approached by some people from the organization that this gentleman represents, and what they do is they go around and come to municipalities that have had a lot of foreclosures and other circumstances like that may have hurt the bottom line of a city, and try to help them out and find out what their capabilities are, if they can help a city recover some of the lost funds or not. So with that, I'll leave it to the gentleman here to give his presentation tonight, and welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and distinguished members of the City Council. My name is Joel Lieberson, and it's a pleasure to be able to speak with the community tonight about a potential opportunity that might help the city's finances. As this community is well aware, the problem of mortgage foreclosures has been a serious problem all throughout South Florida, and in particular in Homestead. And what I'm here to talk about is a particularly heinous type of loan activity by the banks that caused the foreclosures that we're discussing. And those are discriminatory lending practices where the banks targeted minorities in clear violation of federal law in order to generate, in many cases, billions and billions of dollars. And what happened as a result of this is that communities like Homestead were left dealing with problems where the city had to expend resources, be it police, fire, public safety, you name it, to go to the properties and clean up the messes. The city also lost a substantial amount of property tax revenue, a portion of which is attributable to these loans going into foreclosure. The idea here is for the city to have an opportunity to try to recover some of that money. This is not a novel legal theory that a bunch of lawyers came up with. The idea of filing a discriminatory lending case where the city would be the plaintiff against certain of the major national banks that issued these loans is a well-established legal theory, sanctioned by the United States Supreme Court dating back to 1979, and repeatedly reaffirmed by federal courts throughout the country. This exact action has been filed by the City of Baltimore, the City of Memphis, 3 counties in Atlanta. The Department of Justice has filed 2 of these actions, and it is now public record that this team in this exact case has been approved for filing by the City of Miami. A couple of weeks ago, the City Commissioners voted 5-0 to move forward on this matter. It is an opportunity for the city to try to provide some funding for some of the programs I heard everybody talk about tonight. I think it's wonderful how much the city values education. I come from a family of teachers. And to be able to take some money, should the city decide to proceed with this, and allocate it to wonderful programs like education for the community, seems like a great thing for this municipality to do. This is your typical contingency case, doesn't cost the city a penny. The funding for the case is available, it doesn't cost the city any money out of pocket. Our team and our group bears all of the risks, the city bears none of the risks. As I said, we are now proceeding on behalf of the city of Miami, and we would like to basically ask the city tonight if it is a case that they are interested in proceeding with, and if so, we are prepared to start working on this matter immediately. And that is the essence of the case. I've had an opportunity to speak with some folks individually in more detail. Please understand that some of the issues are privileged, and so I wouldn't want to stand up here and talk about legal strategies or things like that, because that would be hurtful to the city. But that's really the essence of what this is all about. We've talked to outside city counsel, city attorney, on a number of occasions in detail. They are well aware of the strategy, the lawyers on the team, the precedent, and they're very comfortable proceeding, and that's why I was asked to come and speak to you folks this evening.
Okay, questions from council?
Just 2 points of clarification, if I could, because we do have a couple local banks here, and this is not, they are not included in this at all, just to let them be, make sure that they understand that this is, we're not even looking at them, this is at a national level with banks, and Mr. Lieberson, you could tell me, I believe some of them, some settlements have already come out of this type of action.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the 2 Department of Justice cases have settled, so have the cases filed by Baltimore and by Memphis, and the total settlements the banks have paid is north of $500 million so far.
Right. And then the other thing that caught my attention, besides the legal team that they've put together, the day that I met with them, I believe there were 5 other gentlemen from all over the United States, and quite impressive resumes that they all had, was that there's absolutely no cost to the city. They come down here, do all the legwork and all the research and everything for us, and then the terms would be settled at some later point. We would find out exactly what the terms are, but there's no cost to the city, and we potentially recover some lost revenue that they feel may be due to the city through this predatory lending. So that's all I wanted to say.
Through the mayor.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Fairclough.
This seems very interesting, the surface level information that I have read upon it, but I don't feel comfortable taking a position at this time, considering the time that the request came in to meet with me. My schedule did not permit me to meet with you and avail myself to you, but I would like to do that, to sit down with you to understand the intricacies of this case. So at this time, I don't feel comfortable moving forward because I don't have all of the information to be able to make an educated decision.
Thank you. Mr. Shelley.
I have similar concerns, and that is, although there's no additional cost or cost out of pocket specifically for attorney's fees or court costs and things, the one concern I do have is I do know that in order to gather the information that you're going to need to present your case evidence-wise, there is going to be potentially a significant amount of staff time that may have to be dedicated to that, which does cost the city money, ultimately does cost us to pay our staff overtime and things of that nature. So although I'm not opposed to the idea, I kind of share my fellow colleagues' concerns in that I think I would like to maybe have staff go forward and discuss this in further detail with them, maybe figure out exactly what the terms would be, get an idea of what staff time might be required for us to go forward and make sure our case is as strong as possible. But that's one of the concerns I have. It's one of the unknowns is what is it actually going to cost us to gather this information, and how much time is that going to take away from our normal city functions versus the possible reward. So those are the only concerns I would raise.
And if you want, I can very briefly address that last comment, because it's something we're very sensitive to, and it's something we've talked to several municipalities about. The idea is there's clearly certain information you folks have that we're going to need. There's no question about it, and you'll know how to find it much faster than we will. However, we are also bringing in a large group of experts and attorneys who have actually gone through this in several other municipalities and are doing it in Miami right now, and we are extremely efficient at doing so. So I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that it would be no use of city resources from a person power perspective, because that wouldn't be accurate. What I can tell you is we are very efficient, and we take as little time and resources as necessary, and we are very sympathetic to the concern that you just raised. We take that seriously.
Any further questions? Yes,
Mayor?
Mr. Maldonado.
Actually, we'll let you go. Go ahead. Mayor?
Go ahead, Ms. Wallman.
I'm very sorry. I'm having a really hard time hearing, so I apologize if I'm going to be redundant. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. I, too, have questions about this, and unfortunately, due to my circumstances right now, with an illness in my family, I was not able to meet with the gentleman. But I have many questions, and I'd like to have to meet with our city manager. You know, one of the questions I have regards staff time, and I'd just like to do a little more research on it. So I would really like, and I think both Councilwoman McCormick and Councilman Shelley might have said the same thing, just to put it on hold long enough for us to get some reports back from the manager.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, thank you. I spoke to the gentleman today and briefly went over when we had the discussion, and obviously it's a concern with this predatory lending that happened. So, you know, kind of on the same premise, I know that we as a council, we always basically ask the city manager to look at what is proposed, and I'm sure if you've not met, I didn't ask that question, but you know, I'm pretty sure that they're going to work with you and see if this is something that we could participate in, because at the end of the day, if it is helping our residents and putting money back into their hands, then it's something that I'd be in favor for. You know, we just need to do our checks and balances and make sure everything is working fine. So other than that, Mr. Manager, thank you.
Okay. So really the consensus tonight is that we move forward and we learn a little more about the program and a little more about anytime we're going to enter in litigation, it concerns me, because nothing's ever friendly about litigation, simple as that. So I'd like to know more than what I hear tonight, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you either, so I think that we need to table this and we'll get back with you.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to tab 1. And I'm going to explain. Car 506 is annexation workshop. And let me...
Through the mayor, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
I know we have a very healthy agenda tonight.
We're going to get through this very quickly, because most of them are going to are here for that, and we're going to get that interest concern.
I'm
Otherwise,
trying to be considerate to our children back there who have homework to do.
They're going to sit through a lot of information that they don't have to sit through.
Okay.
The majority of you here, can I see a raise of hands? Who's here for annexation? Okay, see, we're going to fix that. The workshops were appointed by me. I asked for the workshops because I knew how the West felt. I've been here since '95, and I know how you felt when we tried before, once or twice, and when my predecessor went forward with it. I want to say that any annexation to the West is off the table at this point. So I wished I could have spoke up earlier and told you that. It just didn't give me the opportunity. So if you'd like to go home and have dinner, we're not going to talk about anything to the west. Anything west of Homestead? Zero.
That has west in it.
I don't see. You're welcome to stay. Look, I haven't seen one area proposed so far that's recurring revenue. So somebody's going to have to sell me a lot better than they're selling me to spend $20,000 per area on areas that it's going to cost us money to go in and get, because Leisure City will cost us money to go get. It won't make us money. So if we're looking to make more money out of areas and bring better quality of life and bring better services, we've got to find better areas than we are. And obviously the West doesn't want it, so we're not gonna pursue it any further. Simple as that.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I was going to say the Area 4 is the only area that I see here that's up for discussion, correct? So areas 1, 2, and 3 are off the table at this point. So that's all done. It's just Area 4 that will be discussed tonight.
Which would be west. I mean,
which is the east side of town.
East. Air base, Bayfront.
Yes, that's what's on the agenda tonight for discussion. So only if you live east and you have an interest, then you might want to stay. Anything that's in sub-area 1, 2, or 3, that's not being discussed or proposed at this point.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Mayor Basin.
Yes. You guys can leave, and we'll take a little recess if you. Go ahead, Miss Wallman.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you know that since I started talking about the Bayfront Park area, I understand that Cutler Bay has it on their agenda tonight to pursue with the county the annexation of Bayfront Park. So if we're interested in this, which I'm very interested in the Bayfront Park area, I really hope that we move forward with this very quickly because other cities are.
Councilwoman Waldman, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have spoken with Mr. Cordino, and I know that he and myself have both spoken to Mayor McDougal, and neither one of us believe that that is a true statement at this time, due also to the fact that Commissioner Moss has drawn up a map that has been presented at the county level, I believe, right, Mr. Cordino? And Mayor McDougal is also aware of that. And with that map being drawn, Mayor McDougal has kind of, off the record, proffered that they're not going to come down below like 268th, somewhere in that area is as far south as they would be looking.
Okay. Well, I just received a phone call right before the meeting started, and I was told that they were pursuing that tonight. So.
Yeah. I do see Larry Ventura from the air base back there. Mr. Ventura, have you heard anything about Cutler Bay with this on their agenda for tonight?
Are you asking me a question?
No, Larry Ventura from the air base is here. I was asking him because he keeps up on top of that stuff for them, and I'm sure that they've...
also included in that conversation I had.
Larry Ventura, Homestead Air Reserve Base, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't keep on top of that. I did hear about the Moss Incorporation proposal. I'm aware of that. Of course, the city annexation. Cutler Bay, I know we're looking to do annexation, but I didn't know how far south that was coming yet. That's all I know on that part. I can tell you that as far as this goes, the base doesn't at this point have any objection to the study of the annexation, and I guess that will flush out the details afterwards as how that may look, and we'll address that at the time. But for the study, there's no objection at the time.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura. Yes. Do you have a comment?
In Cutler Bay, annexation is on the agenda tonight. I just don't believe the area is as far south as the councilwoman believes.
Okay, we can address it. It's an item we're going to address.
Yeah.
East, so.
Can we push back after everything with the kids? Are we on it right now?
Yeah, we're on it right now.
Okay.
It's one item, right? East. Okay, Mr. Manager.
Joe's got a brief presentation. Joe, if you want to just kind of go through quickly the maps that you have and explain what it is that you're recommending, which is Area 4 and what Area 4 incorporates, so that it kind of hopefully puts everyone at ease.
Great, thank you. Let me see if I am on the right page here. Am I on the right page? I'll cut to the chase because last time, let me see, okay, there we go. Last time we discussed annexation and, hold on here, and the whole genesis of how we got here, what the options were, and then we went into a discussion. And so we had a pretty detailed discussion about how the county had formed essentially the two levels of county government being the unincorporated area and the municipalities with the top tier being Miami-Dade County. We talked about growth in the urban development boundary. We talked about the county being relatively young and how it's developed from a handful of cities in its early development in the 1960s to where we are today with 35 cities. And the fact that the county government had placed a moratorium on annexations and incorporations that had recently been lifted. And that right now that there is a task force studying annexations and incorporations. And we have a policy or essentially we have a protocol put forth by the county for how to go about the process. They've lifted the moratorium, and so many communities are looking into their options relative to annexations and incorporations. And the thought is that the task force shall come back at some point in time and may require all of the unincorporated areas to either join an existing municipality or incorporate themselves. And so what we've what happened last week at Miami-Dade County was that there were 2 new municipal advisory committees formed, and I've got a map up right now that shows these areas in blue. There's South 1 or South A and South B, and they've been given 3 years to undertake an incorporation analysis, by which they'll go through the same type of analysis that we're recommending here based on the county protocols. And so we know that Cutler Bay is discussing a potential annexation. We know that you've got Redland with its own MAC. You've got 2 new MACs that are north of the city of Homestead. And then we had looked at 4 potential areas last time. Our recommendation at this point in time is really just to go forward with the area east of the city. And that was, I'll put it up on the map. You can see when I'm talking about these different areas on the slideshow. But that's really this area here, which is all of the area east of Homestead. It deals with the Air Force Base. It deals with the National Park. It deals with the nuclear power plant, and some of the and all the unincorporated land east of the city, which I believe much of it is outside of the urban development boundary. So if we were going to go forward with something like this, we would simply be looking at, and in total, it's a 3-phase process. And we'd want, the first phase, you'd want to look at the character of the community that you were looking at. You would look at the cost to provide service, since we don't know any of that right now. If you were dealing, because you have multiple interests looking at areas around the city, it's probably a good idea to start working with the leaders of the surrounding communities. The policy for Miami-Dade County in the past has been that if you are going to enter into, if different entities are going for the same piece of land, the county has asked that they come to an agreement on the boundaries first and then bring the application to Miami-Dade County. So it's definite that you really need to talk with your others in the area so that you can work out these details. Once we agree upon that in years in the future, or we'd look for a formal application, and that's essentially where we are. Again, to get a little bit detail, you look at the character, land use, zoning, political boundaries, different generators, like we said, parks, nuclear plants, Air Force bases. We'd look at the cost, and we really would need to know what it's going to cost us to provide those areas the same service as we're providing our citizens right now. And then once we understand that, we'd go back, we'd present it to you, and you could then decide whether you wanted to go forward, wait, or stop the process altogether. So that's all I've got, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So, Mayor, what we're looking for really is direction. If you're comfortable with studying Area 4, we'd like that direction so that we can get started on that one.
I'm comfortable.
Yes.
I make a motion, Mayor?
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion. Are you talking to me?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is hard. I just want to move it forward, so I'd like to make the motion.
All right, we get a second?
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Okay, annexation's over with. Thank you very much.
Mayor, if I may, I would like to request that we move up tabs 7 and 8, considering we have several students here tonight for this particular item. Wait, let me finish.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Yes, Vice Mayor. I have a conflict of interest with tab 7 and 8. I had a relationship with one of the participants, and therefore I will be absenting the vote. Thank you.
Yes.
Here's my vote of conflict.
Ditto, I also do possibly have one, so I'm going to step out.
Okay.
We'll go to tab 7 first. Is that the
Thank
proper
you.
order, James?
Yes. Please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff has made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for those organizations. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications they've had concerning any of the following quasi-judicial items. Hearing none at this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on the following quasi-items.
And repeat after me. I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Vice Mayor, tab 7 and 8 are related, special exception and site plan. I'll read the titles for both so that you can collectively hear the presentation and discuss them, but then you'll need to call for a separate vote on each item, if that's acceptable. Tab 7 is the...
First, we need a motion for it before you read your staff report, correct?
Well, yes, I'll read both
You're going to
resolution
read them
titles.
both and then do, okay.
Tab 7 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving a special exception to permit a K-12 charter school on an approximately 3.08 acre parcel located at 305 Northeast 2nd Road, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Tab 8 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for a K-12 charter school on an approximately 3.08 acre parcel located at 305 Northeast 2nd Road, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Staff report.
Yes, sir. I'd like to start with the special exception. We're recommending that the council approve the resolution for the special exception for the charter school. The applicant, as we said, is requesting the special exception to put this charter school. They want to construct a 1,000-student K-12 school on about a little bit more than 3 acres of land located at 305 Northeast 2nd Road. This is going to be built in 2 phases, with the first phase to include a 73,000-foot, 3-story main classroom with 93 on-site parking spaces and 12 on-street parking spaces and the associated infrastructure. The second phase is going to include the 8,800-square-foot gymnasium and support building. The property is currently zoned Liberal Business District, or B3. It has a future land use designation of Technology Mixed Use, or TMU, and the charter school is permitted in the B3 district through special exception. So we evaluated the application through the city code in 2 sections, and we found that this application does warrant a special exception, and we would recommend approval for that special exception. Subsequently, the applicant has submitted the site plan, and the site plan, I'll go read our recommendation for that. We also recommend approval for, again, we've evaluated this based on the city code. It's permitted in the B3 district, and the site plan is concurrent with, is in conformance with all of the issues that we addressed in our city code. And if the applicant has a presentation which they can get into all their details much more closely, and then I believe you can ask them some questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? I've got one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Why is it 12 spots on the street necessary for parking before we get going here? I'm just...
Well, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but they're just additional spaces that we have on the street for for parking, so it's
Okay,
just.
so it's not because they didn't have enough inside, because somebody had
No, I don't believe so.
spaces inside on,
No, sir, I think
and they needed
they
those.
have adequate parking, it's just have some stuff on the street.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fresson?
Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. At this moment, I'm going to go ahead and make a presentation as a private citizen at this point on behalf of Civica LLC, 8323 Northwest 12th Street, Doral, Florida. I'm here representing, our firm is representing Mr. Wayne Rosen on behalf of Shores Development and the C.Y. LaPlante Trust. I'm joined by our associate at Civica, Mr. Ivan Fajardo, our traffic engineer who may be able to answer any traffic-related questions later on if you have some, Mr. Richard Garcia from RGA Traffic, and also joined, more importantly, by the schools themselves, Somerset School principals, parents, and children, Dr. Christina Cruz, Idalia Suarez, and Lila Morales, representatives and principals of the Somerset Academies, and all the parents and children from those schools, and potentially future parents and children from those schools. Mr. Vice Mayor, I'm going to go quickly through our general presentation, and if you have any questions on any of the details, I'm sure we'd be more than happy to answer them. As Mr. Corradino mentioned, the item that you have before you today is an item that's 2 years in the making, and that was done purposely in order to be deliberative, in order to ensure that the product that was going to be before you was going to be a perfect collaboration of 2 A-rated schools in your city to specifically address the high educational output and demands of the parents in the Southwest area in Homestead. So the application that you have before you today has been slow in the making, purposely, has had input from the parents, has had input from the community, input from your staff, input from the school board, input from the boards of the various schools themselves, to make sure that by the time that this application was before you, we would have unanimous approval not only from your P&Z board, but from your staff, from the parents, and from the community, and most importantly, the current and future parents in Southwest Homestead. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just be general with the presentation, as Mr. Corradino mentioned. We have favorable staff recommendation across the board. Mr. Vice Mayor, to your specific point, the parking, the on-street parking, as Mr. Corradino mentioned, was superfluous parking that was available, but I do want to reassure you that the school site itself has plenty of parking on site to meet its required parking count. So at no point are those 12 or how many ever spaces are along the street necessary in order to make the site plan compliant. That's the only concern I heard prior to the presentation, so I'd rather be short and allow my associate, Mr. Fajardo, to go through some of the details of the site plan, and our traffic engineer to briefly discuss some of the traffic and circulation and queuing issues, and allow the council any questions that they may have. So thank you, sir. I'm sorry, I spoke out of order because I know, as the councilwoman stated, we have parents and the school here itself. So before Mr. Fajardo makes his presentation on the site plan, I'd like to recognize Ms. Idalia Suarez, Dr. Christina Cruz, and Lila Morales to briefly discuss Somerset's great successes in Homestead. So.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor and the council. As a founding principal of Somerset City Arts right across the street 5 years ago, I feel very blessed to be part of this wonderful community of Homestead. Somerset has been around since 1997, and since then it is a nationwide network of school. We have over 40 campuses, and we have shown that we have provided a wonderful product that our stakeholders seek to see their children grow. Here in Homestead, I have a K-8. Dr. Cruz also has a K-11, but we do not have room to grow, and our parents are constantly asking us, we want our students to stay in a Somerset school. They believe in the Somerset brand, and we are here to see if we can have our students grow and graduate from a Somerset high school here in Homestead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christina Cruz. I'm very nervous because it's long awaited. Somerset parents, please stand up for 1 second, please. This is why I'm here. I'm so incredibly proud. As you know, Somerset is a SACS accredited school, which is a very hard feat to attain. I've been in education 24 years, serving many children. I want to say thank you. And normally I actually speak much better. I'm just a little bit nervous right now, so I apologize. On behalf of my staff, my students, my parents, I'm going to make a very bold statement. We will not let you down. We have a proven record. Somerset is dedicated to all the students. We have a very simple motto. If the students succeed, we succeed. We actually start everything we do with an end in mind. For example, our kindergarten, we're already thinking, okay, well, where are our kids going to go to graduate? Where are they going? And so that's how we run our school. In the few years we've been there, we've moved our school from a D to an A. We've been recognized by the Department of Education for having the top gains in the state of Florida, awarded the top 5% in Miami-Dade County, as well as top 10% in the state. But I'm nothing without my parents, my teachers, my staff. Again, you're only as good as your people around you. Technology, we're awesome. 1-to-1 ratio laptop in grades 2 and up with wonderful Promethean boards. Again, why do we need a building? Simple. We have an amazing proven track record. We systematically and cohesively develop everything we do together as a team. Simply put, we've outgrown our space, and we want to offer so much more to our kids. It's really our kids that we're looking for. So please, again, vote for us. We are an amazing team. And now I'm going to have Ms. Valdez address the wait list.
Hello, my name is Adriana Valdez. Somerset Academy currently services 482 students. We have a substantial waiting list. After our first planning and zoning meeting, our waiting list has grown tremendously. With the middle school and high school moving out of our elementary, enrollment will actually double. Both Somerset City Arts and Somerset South Homestead Elementary will be working cooperatively in transitioning the students into our middle high. Our own students requested, begged, and pleaded us to offer them a high school. We have students that were forced to attend another high school for their freshman year because we were unable to offer it for them. Once we opened up our high school, they all came back to Somerset Academy. Yes, it was at a smaller scale, but nevertheless, they came back. Our students don't want to leave Somerset. They love the Somerset culture, and they are the reason for this high school. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lyda Morales-Cosio, and not only am I a proud Homestead resident, but I am also a very proud administrator, and I apologize for getting emotional. Of all the people here, our students are so amazing. In the 2 short years that we've had the high school, our students have come so far. They are currently enrolled in a dual enrollment program with Miami-Dade County and here in the Homestead campus, and they've all earned a 3.0 or higher for their first semester. So for the upcoming school year, we're going to continue doing the dual enrollment program, and we're going to offer AP classes. In addition to that, we're going to have the career and professional academies. These academies include a criminal justice academy, early childhood education academy, and the fine arts. For the Criminal Justice Academy, we're teaming up with the City of Homestead Police Department, where we've been working with Captain Washington and Chief Roll diligently in order to make this academy a success. Our students have visited the station several times throughout the year, giving them an amazing hands-on experience with this. So I just want to go on the record by thanking Chief Roll for all of his time and dedication into this academy, because it has really so far been a success, and it will continue to be. For the early childhood education, we're teaming up with Little Angels Daycare, which is also located in Homestead. Here, our students will be able to complete their hours necessary to graduate after their 4 years with their Child Development Associate's degree. And in addition to this, our students are doing internships with the accounting firm Ernst & Young. They will be working with Representative McGee at the Southdade Courthouse, and they will be having internships with several other neighboring businesses here in Homestead. We are getting our students ready for the future. We truly are. And we anticipate 100% graduation rate, and more importantly, a 100% college acceptance rate. Soho's successful support system has laid a solid foundation for these students. They are ready to take on any future endeavors, and we truly are impacting the lives of these students. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Monica De La Rosa. I'm here to speak on behalf of the staff and the students. For the past 2 years, we've had a great group of kids that we want to have them explore what's out there. The universities in Florida, through donations, sponsorships, fundraising, doing everything that we can for each of our students to go on college trips have been a huge success for us and for the students. We've gone to various universities. We've gone to University of Miami, Florida International University, University of South Florida, University of Central Florida, University of Florida, Florida Gulf Coast, University of North Florida, Florida State University, and we've also taken them to Tallahassee Community College. The reason why we did that was because TCC is a feeder into FSU. Just in case the criteria was way too high for them to be accepted, we want them to know that there is a way to go into the universities that they want. We don't want them to just say, oh, we can't get in and we failed. We want them to show them that there's other ways to get into those universities. That's the way that we would do 100% college acceptance, for them to get into these colleges and know that there's a future for them. The experience in the college trips completely transformed these students. They did not know what it was to go visit a campus. They did not know what the requirements were. Our staff, our principal, our assistant principal has guided them in order for them to participate in going to these trips, to know what there is out there. Going on these trips, they didn't know what they were going to be challenged or what to expect, and it totally has changed their lives. Leaving each campus visit, all they were talking about how excited they were in order to do good in school, to be able to go to one of these universities. The last trip that we went to, we actually went to the Tallahassee Capitol. We were invited by Senator McGee, and it was such a great experience for these kids to hear him talk and let him know that he was a nobody. But look at where he's at now, because he stayed in the right track and stayed positive and was able to succeed in what he wanted. It did a huge impact, and they'll be here to tell you what an impact it has done in their lives, to know that there is a way out, and that's what we're doing for our students, showing them that they are able to succeed and that they are able to go into the universities that they want to go into. With that said, I was speaking to you as the high school registrar advisor. Now I want to speak with you real fast about, as a parent. Our students want this high school, and they deserve it. They have been fighting for it for a long time, so have I. We're not asking you to do this for us, or for our staff, or for everyone at Somerset. We're asking you to please do this for our students, which are the future of our great city of Homestead. Thank you for your opportunity and for your time for having us speak here.
Thank you all so much, Mr. Vice Mayor and Council. In the spirit of brevity, I'm going to table the full-out site plan and traffic presentation and just allow it to be organic as far as questions, specific questions you may have as a site plan, in lieu of having you all hear the voices and see the faces of the parents, of a few parents, and the children that are living this dream in the Somerset Academies in Homestead, and more importantly, bucking every single conventional myth out there that certain kids and certain families just can't learn. So I'd rather table our part for now and just be available for questions, but I think it's critical for you to hear the voices and see the faces of the family. So if you could please come up.
Let's just, I know that, everybody's here in support, so let's keep them very short. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Most of you all know me. I'm Terry Dawkins. I have the great privilege of being a part of both these schools and their enrichment program after school. I see children that go, that are happy, and these teachers know each and every one of their students by their first name. I see a lot every day when I go into these schools, and Homestead would be cherish to have this as a high school. I urge you all to vote yes for them, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Naivi Snow. I'm one of the parents. I have all three of my boys out there, 16, 10, and 8, which is not easy to have them. But my oldest one has been out there from Sacred Heart that it used to be to what it is now, Soho. I've seen a big difference in my son. The dedication that they give him, the motivation, how do they do it, I don't know. But his grades show it a lot. The smallest one that started in pre-K, he's in 2nd grade, has honor rolls all these years. It's not just me alone. It shows that the teachers are really there with them, helping them in any kind of way they can. The PE coach doesn't only do PE. He's after my son with the reading, what to do, the future, what do you want to be, going to college and everything. And that, I've seen a big difference on my son, all three of them, not just one. All three of them have shown me a big difference, just alone in the school that they attend.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Martinez. I have 3 boys and 1 girl. One is in high school, 2 in middle school, and 1 elementary. And this school, like the lady said, they're a family. All the kids know each other. All the teachers know them. Everybody knows each other. They're really great. The one in high school, he's doing great. He's in honor roll. And actually, I don't have to beg them or wake them up in the morning to go to school. They always want to go to school. I have no problem with that. They are ready half an hour early. They're happy there, and they have a good education, and they're doing great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Irma Torres Jimenez, and I have 3 children at Somerset Academy. I have an 11th grader, which hopefully graduating next year, but she is living proof, and I'm very proud of her that she does online classes, she does dual enrollment, and she is an honor roll student at Somerset Academy, and I couldn't be any more prouder of her and my other 2 boys who are also on honor roll. And I can definitely say there is no other school that your assistant principal will walk your children across the street to the daycare where they attend after school. Mrs. Morales does that. There is no school that my kids have attended where your principal is in the parking lot opening doors for your children to get off. They recognize when even your simple thing as your son got a haircut over the weekend. These are the simple little things. It feels very family oriented. I cannot express enough, and as long as Somerset Academy is open and the administration and staff that they have is there, my children will attend Somerset Academy.
Hello, my name is Louis Dixon. First of all, I just want to say I'm humbled to be here. When I first started attending Soho in the 8th grade, I knew that there was something special about the school. Throughout its first year, Somerset South Homestead experienced tough challenges and had even tougher goals. A goal that we still strive for today, a goal to succeed and prosper, not only as individuals, but also as a family. With the guidance of Dr. Cruz and Ms. Morales, we saw more of our potential and realized that with some effort, we can make something of ourselves. At the time of its opening, Soho was a K-8 school, so unfortunately most of our 8th grade class parted ways to different high schools, including South Dade, Silver Palms, Coral Reef, and Keys Gate. In the later half of our freshman year, many of us got word of Soho expanding to a K-10. So without a doubt, in my mind, I returned to Soho along with many of my missed friends. I was one student among the first graduating class in 2010 in 8th grade. Right now, I am currently a junior, and I am definitely proud to say that next year I will be in Somerset South Homestead first graduating senior class. This school has showed me many things and instilled many morals, something that my previous high school could not. The teachers and staff at Soho are not just teachers on a payroll. They are our friends, our mentors, and most of all, our family. Without them believing in all of us, we would be just any other school, but we're not, because the amazing people that make up that staff Make up Somerset South Homestead.
Hello, my name is Jose Ariola, and I just wanted to say that this school is like literally like the best school here at Homestead. And I used to come from South Dade, where like the teachers, they didn't care about you, they didn't care about your grades, they didn't worry about you as much. But when I came to Soho, I changed dramatically, and I've gotten an honor roll, and the teachers out here, they're the best, like Coach H, Miss Ronnie, Mr. Oldacre, and the principals, she's always on top of me on my grades, telling me that I should do better for myself, that I'm worth better. And over there in South Dade, they didn't tell me this. And my parents, my mom, she's very happy how I've become better for myself, and that she's happy that I have good grades and stuff. And that's it, thank you.
Mr. Vice Mayor, we're available
Thank you.
for questions. Thank you.
I got tears up here. Anyway, who would like to start off? Mr. Maldonado?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, let me tell you, as the liaison to the Education Committee, you know, it makes me proud to see the work that you have done already here in this school. We've heard throughout the community the good work that you're doing there at Somerset, so I applaud you in that. My only question, and I think it's always been a question when anyone comes before us, because this council has been very proactive in the schools here. We don't say no to education because what I've always said is that the building block for Homestead is education. So if we want this great community, we want folks to be living down here, moving down here from all areas of Miami-Dade County, then education has to be the building block for us. So with that, again, the only thing that we've always looked at is the parking and the traffic flow. We like to be considerate of all our residents, our traffic, and so obviously if we ask Mr. Cordino and staff to make sure that they check that for us. And again, we just don't want to be an impediment to any of the residents here, but other than that, I'd be in support of this school and moving forward. So for that, that'll be all for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Waldman?
I just want to say congratulations for all the good work that these teachers have done over the years, and I know a lot of the students that go there, so I'm very happy to support the school and support the students, support the teachers, administrators. So luck in the future, and please keep me posted.
Mr. Shelley?
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to skip over. Okay.
Okay. Just two comments. One is, you know, I think that there's no question the quality of the education facility that you guys have and the quality education that you're bringing to the city of Homestead. You know, I think those are all things that we are grateful for, and I thank you guys for all your hard work in doing so. And I think you've done a good job. One of my concerns is traffic on US 1 and the effects that it might have there. And I think given the location of this particular school, I think you guys have done a good job with your site plan of trying to address those or mitigate those issues. And so I will be supporting the school tonight. Now, my second comment is just a general comment, and that it kind of goes back to the last council meeting, and that was that I raised the concern that we needed to address where these schools can go within our community. And so they followed the rules, they followed our code, and they're bringing a great product to the city of Homestead. But I think that there are some concerns about generally where we're allowing schools to continue to pop up. And so I think, again, I just want to drill home the point that I think we need to work on getting that code amendment back to us to evaluate, to discuss, and to talk about, because you know, we are taking valuable real estate off the tax rolls and on prime US 1 property. And the same thing with the school zones. You know, potentially if a school zone goes on US 1, there's no major thoroughfare within our city that we can drive around without running into a school zone during certain times of the day. And so I think those are all concerns about quality of life. And so I think that's why it's critical that we address going forward where we want our schools to be so that we can control the impacts those schools have. But it doesn't apply to this school. You know, you guys have followed the rules, you've done your job, and I think you're going to bring a great product to the city, so thank you.
Ms. McCormick, Faircloth McCormick.
Through the chair, I have a couple of questions and then a comment. Dr. Christina Cruz-Ortiz, you know you're amazing. I have the utmost respect for you and Leda Morales. We've worked on boards outside of our occupations, and I value what you bring to the city of Homestead. My question is, in your student performance, I'm looking at your numbers. You went from 3% to 80%. Is that percent proficient or learning gains?
Which year? Which school, which year? Oh, the slide.
Yeah. It says from 3% to 80%, which is phenomenal if it was percent proficient, but was that percent
Correct, it's
proficient or learning
proficiency.
gain?
Correct.
Proficiency.
Proficiency, correct.
And that was when you went from, what is it, D to an A?
D
From the
to A.
From a D
Correct.
to an A.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Kudos to you and your staff. Also, you know there's a prevailing sentiment that in charter schools, you cherry pick your kids. So if you just want to elaborate on that, about your application process and how you're going to matriculate these students into your school to ensure that there's a level playing field and you're not carving off the cream of the top from the other schools to come to your school.
I could probably take that one because it's an unfortunate, like the myth that certain kids and from certain backgrounds can't learn. There's also the myth about the nature of these schools. The main reason why that school went from 3% and started at 3% and went to 80% is specifically to counter that myth. The reality is that most of the parents and most of the children that flock towards schools of choice, in particular charter schools, be they whatever school of choice, is because for whatever reason, like the two students mentioned and some of the parents, their home school is not cutting the mustard for whatever reason. Not necessarily because it's a bad school or bad teachers, but for that specific child, for that specific student, their learning needs are not being met by their home school. So usually, and the statistics will prove it, particularly in this case, the students that arrive at a school of choice are the most low-performing students with the most frustrated parents whose home school is not meeting their needs. So what you see in this school, and the reason why they were recognized by the Department of Education, not as a school, but as the school in the entire state of Florida with the largest significant learning gains from one year to the next, is because what you started off with was probably the lowest performing students from whatever home schools they came from. They arrived at this school with no proficiency level whatsoever, so that reflects the first grade level of D, but from one year to the next, they made a leap from 3% to 80% proficiency, which was recognized as the largest learning gain, not only amongst a student population, but in particular, the supposed at-risk student population in the state of Florida. So between those two statistics, it's glaringly obvious that whatever myth is out there that there's a cherry picking going on can't happen. And second of all, the lottery process, the manner in which students are selected in this and every other charter school of the Somerset families, is that essentially it's a blind lottery. Parents come in, they apply, the only real preference, if any, is given to City of Homestead residents, so that those zip codes and those area codes are, the zip codes are the first ones to be processed, but it's all a blind thing with blind numbers. Computer runs a permutation, and whoever comes out, those are the ones. So those are the ones selected. They're blind to whatever their aptitude levels are, they're blind to whatever their proficiency levels are, and so that's how the students are selected. That's the fortunate part. The unfortunate part is reflected in the waiting list and the demand that's unmet. So part of the main reason of this application is not only to make sure that these students can continue to articulate within the Somerset family if they're in there already, but for a large part of that unmet demand, particularly in Southwest Homestead, which addresses Councilman Shelley's question, this is an area that we studied for several years to make sure that this is an area that specifically had an unmet need, an unmet demand, and that we were going to geographically place it in a way where both schools and the unmet demand can be met. And to Councilman Maldonado's point, I should have actually said that in my opening, regardless of whatever financial difficulties the City of Homestead has had, in the time that I've been working with the City of Homestead since late 90s, early 2000s, there has been one consistency throughout, from the council, from your education committees, and there is a consistent vision in the City of Homestead to ensure the highest level of academic excellence to all of its residents, and I think these programs do that.
Okay, thank you, Senator Fresno. I understand the lottery process.
You just promoted me. I'm just a House member. I know.
Well, I'm claiming it for you.
Not yet, not yet.
I just wanted it on the record so that the community is aware of the lottery process for Somerset. My question number 2 is, I was reading the Planning and Zoning minutes, and I forget who was it mentioned, you were touting the fact that you have a high population of ESC students. What exceptionalities?
I have speech and language, learning disabled, autistic, developmentally delayed. I've seen an increase of students being diagnosed within our system. They come into kindergarten, we work with them, we realize that they're not meeting the demands of the state, and we immediately intervene, and we work with our district and our psychologists and our ESC staffing specialists to process the student through the RTI process, and we have identified quite a number of students. At City Arts, right across the street, I would say we have over 6% of our student population is right now special needs. And the parents, knowing that they have a choice to receive more services at their local community school, have opted to stay within the Somerset family because they feel that we provide more of their child's need than if they would go to a resource pull-out program. So yes, we've seen an increase. So that cherry picking, I don't see it. If anybody sees it, please let me know. And at our school, we conduct a lottery publicly with some of our parents. So it's a tried and true lottery process, and once a child's accepted into the school, that's when we ask, if you have an IP, please share it with us so that we're well informed in your child's needs so we can provide the services that they need.
Okay. And I'm asking these questions very specifically because I want to debunk the rumors that you don't accept ESC students, and the fact that you have all those exceptionalities within your building, SLD, DD, autism. I think it's very important for the residents to know that you are in fact servicing students in the education ESC program. And my final comment is, first and foremost, I'm an educator at heart, but I don't just rubber stamp all things education. It has to make sense for me in order for me to back it and put my name behind it. I do believe in choice. Charter schools provide a choice, public schools provide a choice, and private schools provide a choice. And if it is your parents' choice to continue the trajectory at Somerset City Arts and you have or Somerset Soho, and you have a great product, I am going to support that, because essentially what you're doing here is expanding the pipeline so that the children you're already servicing can matriculate from K to 12th grade. So tonight I am going to support that agenda item for those reasons.
Thank you, Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick. You've got your traffic guy with you, Mr. Fresson?
Yes, I do.
Could he please come up? My biggest fear...
I think that's the first time there's been an applause for a traffic engineer.
Ever, anywhere. We got it on tape for him. He can take it home and play it. I'm all for the school. I think it's a great product. My biggest fear is, and every charter school or school that comes up here, business, traffic. And right now our citizens are stymied in the mornings and in the afternoons. You know, Dade County came down here and built a school and didn't care one thing about the neighborhood it was stuck in. Some other schools were built prior to me being sat up here and asking the question or making a demand upon the developer. Charter Schools USA is over there with Keysgate, and that's a disaster. We can't even we've put a demand on them to staff it with 2 police officers, and our police officers refuse to go over there because the parents are so rude to them in the afternoon some days. So we have to bring forces in from outside. And my fear is that the same thing's going to happen over there with you guys, is parents are going to come down southbound on Highway 1, stop, drop their children off on Highway 1. I mean, we've put no parking signs up and everything. Just a question I have is, I see where your buses come in, and I was over there this afternoon and sat there for about 25 minutes just looking, and J.D. Red Park is there, and I want to make sure that the bus exit is right there, and I want to make sure, I don't know how to do it because we can't block the park, it's a public park, that the buses and the school traffic are not coming through J.D. Red Park to access the school in the morning or egress in the afternoon. You know, these are the things that I have, and just the way, how do you guys deter the parents with this plan? I don't see any way to deter them from stopping and doing the things that I've brought up, because you have them coming in on a back road that even with a 3 staggered starts every morning, it's still going to be traffic that's going to be there. But how do you guys deter the parents, because the other schools have been unsuccessful?
I'm going to allow some of the technical questions to obviously to be answered by the engineer, but Mr. Vice Mayor, I do want to make a distinguishing point about Somerset Academy, not just these, but it's already been tried and true in other Somerset Academies throughout the county. We have Somerset Academy requires a very strict parent contract. One of the elements of that parent contract, and we'd be happy to submit it to the council, is specifically deals with the drop-off and pick-up, the times, the queuing, when you're allowed to pick up, when you're not, and specific prohibitions against the very kind of acts that you're doing. So I'm not sure what happens in the other schools, be they conventional or other charters, but tried and true in the Somerset Academies, even the one that my kids go to down in South Miami, that is one of the strictest elements of the parent contract because it's the only thing that keeps circulation moving, and it's also a safety issue, as you said. Now, Mr. Garcia will talk about how there are no access points from US 1 to alleviate that concern, but I wanted you to and the council certainly needs to know that this specific school, this group of schools, has as one of its major elements in its parent contract that, if violated, by the way, can actually lead to expulsion and/or non-renewal of the kid coming in the next year, is for the parents to abide by the traffic plan that is handed to them in the beginning of the school year by the staff to let them know exactly how they must queue, exactly where they are and are not allowed to drop off, and staff is there to make sure that that's complied with. But to some of the technical points of queuing and buses, I'll let Mr. Garcia.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, Richard Garcia. That's correct, and one of the best ways to manage that is with the parent contract. We work very closely with Civica from the onset to come up with a design of a site plan that can accommodate all the stacking on site. As you mentioned yourself, one of the key ways of doing that with the school is to have staggered arrivals and dismissals so that we can accommodate all the vehicles on site. Another way is the utilization of buses. Although there will be traffic from US 1, it's intended to make a right turn to enter into, I think it was what?
Come in on Northeast 3rd Drive, I believe.
Northeast 3rd, which is, there's a median there, so there's no left turns. It's simply a right in. There's a southbound right turn lane. We looked at the levels of service. We do meet the levels of service. Your staff and consultant has also reviewed our analysis and
see,
concluded
that's what concerns me, is because coming back out of there, when you have them coming out, J.D. Red Park sits right over there to the north side on Northeast 4th Drive, and there's not. If people are trying to go back to the north or to the east, it's difficult for them to exit back out of there with that median and Highway 1 and get to where they want to go without doing a shortcut through the park, most likely. And that's one of my fears, is there's a child playing in there with their parents at the park, and God forbid, it happens, we see it all the time, where a child runs out from behind a parked car, and there's a mom or a dad or a school bus driver cutting through there, and you know, the unfortunate situation then is we're airlifting a child to Jackson Ryder. I don't see, when you get them back out, I understand how you're bringing them in, how are they going to disperse from this exit of the school back out to a major thoroughfare where they're going to go?
Well, they can use the local roads, but if there's concern of any cut-throughs, that's something that we can certainly include into the parent contract to ensure that.
I would feel much more comfortable if you know, we had some input on the contract and what was allowed and what wasn't allowed, because I fear, my other biggest fear is, like I said, on Highway 1 southbound, a mom stops because she's 5 minutes late for work, and she says, oh, I can't do that. 5 minutes into there, hop out, jump over, and run in there, and she gets rear-ended or whatever happens out there.
Well, Mr. Vice Mayor, here's what I can tell you. And again, nobody knows the traffic behavior and the actual human behavior better than you guys, because you guys live here, so you know exactly what streets people would try to maneuver in to get in and out of in and out. So what we can do and what we have done, for example, I put together a covenant and the elements of the parent contract in the city of Doral and city of Miami and city of Hialeah. What we can do is have your staff and/or you or whomever you designate from the city to work with Ms. Suarez and Dr. Cruz and others, so that prior to establishing the standards and the flow patterns of that parent contract, we will collaborate with the city, whomever you choose to be the designee, and then more importantly, from day one and through the first week, week, actually see whether or not what is theorized as far as the best way in and out actually works. Because what we've seen a lot of times is that we've had to be flexible. So what we thought was going to be the best way to actually do something after week 1 or 2, we realized that we should actually adjust that in and out flow. And we're more than happy. Again, it's not to try to impose a theory, but realistically, and we'd be happy to have your whomever the city appoints as a designee from the city, be it staff or someone from the police department or what have you, to work with the staff over the summer to make sure that whatever they see as the best theoretical in and out pattern and prevention of certain hazards, as the ones you're talking about, potential in and out of traffic with the kids, that they be prevented up front, included in the contract, but further, as the first week and 2 actually play out, see if it's actually playing out the way they thought, and if not, you know,
No, I know it's a work in progress.
more.
It's still a work in progress 4 years later over here. As you know, as you add more classes and all that too.
Sure.
And parents go from one building to the next.
It's a very legitimate concern, and
I understand that,
we'll-
and I'm all for the school. You know, the product is great. My biggest thing is public safety and citizens not being stymied any worse than they already are around the city, and being able to freely travel. And when you start including Highway 1 into a major pattern of where there's going to be, I forget the count of cars you guys came up with per day, but we've got to take that into consideration. And that's where I'm at. And I see Councilman Shelley wants to say something, so I'll go ahead and let him address his questions.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Not really a question, just a question for maybe Parks and Rec. The JD Red parking lot, does that currently have speed bumps within it?
It does.
Yes.
Yes, it does, Councilman Shelley.
Okay, because that's one thing too, is that if you find an area that has a lot of speed bumps, it will slow the parents down, and they tend to take other directions other than places that run through speed bumps. So it might be also good to maybe place one at the opening there into JD Red parking lot. I don't know if there's one there or not, to again discourage people from using that route versus getting to go the non-speed bump route. Just a question.
Yeah, I can look at that tomorrow, but I think there is a speed bump close to the gate there.
There are. I was through there today, and that's why I had, as I drove out there, I drove through the park and I saw it. I mean, you can get around them if you want to. And,
okay.
And this is kind of like at Harris Field also, but there are speed bumps throughout the entire parking lot.
It's just a question. Thank you.
Yes.
I would love to sit down with somebody and, as we get further along here and come up with a plan of things that you guys include, whether it's myself or whomever it may be. Maybe, since I'm the one that had the most concerns, it seems perhaps, we can have a meeting one morning with myself and Mr. Cordino and whoever else we need to have included, the principals or whoever, I want to be fair too, but we've got to respect, there's 60,000 people living in this city now, and we've got to be respectful of everybody and make sure that everybody is safe and that, so.
And Vice Mayor, just, and I wasn't aware of this, but as part of the construction plan that's in place, there will be a barrier fence placed all along the property line on US 1 to prevent any access in and out. I was just informed of that, so I wasn't aware of that.
Saw that.
When we were talking, but again, that's one of the many elements that could be discussed between now and the opening of the school to make sure that any and all hazards are as preventable as possible.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments?
Just one, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Maldonado.
Thank you. Again, going just back to the traffic, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here. And thank you for addressing that one concern. That actually was going to be my next question. Do we have a barrier fence that is there?
All along the property line on US 1, there will be.
Oh,
again, more really, because it'll wrap around, but yeah.
Okay. So, again, Vice Mayor, thank you for taking lead on that. Again, our only concern is just that, the parking lot. So, as well, since you're going to take the charge, I was going to ask if I could go ahead and jump, work with you as well, but that'd be fine with me. So, traffic is our number one issue that we have with the school. So, other than that, thank you very much.
And it won't be with any staff. It'll be with the boots on the ground. So you guys will be working directly with Ms. Suarez, Ms. Cruz, and their staff, which are the ones that are going to implement the safety aspect of this.
Anything else, Ms. McCormick?
No, I was just going to ask that we go ahead and call the question since your concerns were
Mr.
raised.
Cordino.
Yes, sir.
Comments?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
Mr. Shelley, anything else? All right, let's have a vote.
Councilman.
Hang on one second. Ms. Waldman, anything else before we go to a vote?
Vice Mayor, I just wanted to make sure that I'm hearing everything. Are we voting with an exception to the traffic study, or?
No.
No.
They've offered to come to us. They've offered to come to us and work with us and put in their parents' contract what we feel will be necessary at the beginning of the year, and we will monitor it as we go because we know it's a work in progress. And as we need to make changes to their agreement, we will make changes as we go.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I think
That's standard operating procedure, so yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Now we got to do tab 8, James. We still have to do tab 8, or is that combined? Is that vote combined?
7 and 8
we combined
just
them.
approved
Okay.
combined.
We'll take a 7 and 8 were combined, Madam Clerk. We'll take a brief recess. If you people could please move outside, we still got other business to do. We're happy for you. We're glad you're happy, but we've got work.
Yeah.
I think there was some wavering there. I think there was some wavering. Nah.
Very, very nice.
Sorry, but I'm not going to stay for all the rest of this. I was just being polite. I don't want to walk out and see if it's bad, you know? The rest I can walk out.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's go back to tab 2, consent agenda.
Move it.
Move it, second. Okay, moved and second. Questions and comments? None? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This was public hearings, ordinance and land use, quasi-judicial public hearings.
Already done
it?
Yes, Mayor, tab 6.
Yes.
We just briefly moved out the quasi-judicial to handle tab 7 and 8, so those rules still apply. If anyone's in the room who would like to speak on tab 6 and needs to be sworn, please stand and raise your hand, the clerk.
Okay, tab 6, card number 806. You want to take it and go with it?
Yes, an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a rezoning of an approximately 9,800 square foot parcel from multiple apartment district R3 to restricted retail commercial district B1 for property located at 135 West Maury Drive is legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Okay, somebody move it? Move it. Second?
Second.
Staff? Yes, sir. We recommend that the council approve the proposed ordinance for the rezoning from multiple apartment district, or R3, to the restricted retail district B1 for the vacant parcel land, the 9,800 square foot vacant parcel land located at 135 West Maury. The applicant is requesting the rezoning because they intend to construct a commercial retail store, a Family Dollar, on the undeveloped parcel adjacent to the east upon the approval. Again, the property currently has the R3 designation. We make sure that the land use and zoning are consistent as we do our analysis. The B3, or the B1 is consistent with the future land use map of light commercial use, and so we recommend that this rezoning go through. Okay, thank you. Questions from council? Hearing none. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Wayne.
You say that what will be constructed there?
They're going to do a retail center. They're going to put a Family Dollar store.
Family Dollar.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further questions from council? This time I'll open the public hearing. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final questions from council? Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Wallman? Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Legislative Matters, tab 9.
Move it.
Car 779. Thank you.
Tab 9 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 13, Health and Sanitation, to amend Article 3, Regulation of Donation Drop Boxes and Donation Trailers, to provide for additional regulations of donation drop boxes and donation trailers used to contain donations of personal and household items, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Thank you. Staff report.
We recommend approval of this ordinance. Essentially, what this does is the proposed ordinance provides that the donation drop boxes or trailers that are unlawfully placed on properties need to be removed within 72 hours from the time a code enforcement officer goes out there and places a violation on it. It also establishes removal procedures and allows the police department to assist, and it includes provisions regarding the obstructing code enforcement officer from performing their duties. So again, we recommend approval, and we can get out there soon and start enforcing.
Great.
Thank you. Questions from council?
Just a comment.
Sure.
I just want to say thank you. I know that this has been about a 6-month or 8-month process since I first asked for it to be looked at, and I just want to say thank you. And then if to Captain Kent there, since he's representing the police force tonight, if we can make sure Crystal knows to get started on this as soon as possible. Because those things, I mean, they just drop them off in the middle of the night, as we found out last week. They're sitting on the side of Campbell Drive and wherever, they just stop and drop one off of a truck. So, thank you.
Yeah, that's one on Lucy Street and Redland Road.
Oh, they got them everywhere. They got 5 of them in the Oasis Shopping Center alone.
Yeah. Okay, any further questions from council? I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk?
We need, and please, Mr. Mayor.
I thought I moved it. I moved it.
Yeah,
Moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by
and I
Mr.
seconded it.
Burgess.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tab 10, car 805, dog kennel.
It's about time you got to my part.
Move it.
Second.
Okay.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 4 Animals, Article 3 Dogs and Cats, Division Dogs, to provide for repeal of requirements of Section 498 Dog Kennel, the Code Ordinance related to definition of dog kennels within the city, and providing for incorporation by reference to the Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances related to definition of dog kennels within the city, providing for severability, inclusion of the code conflicts, and an effective date. This is the second reading, public hearing.
Okay. Questions from council? Do we move it? Yes. Okay. Questions from council? Staff report?
Mayor, staff recommends the mayor and council approve the attached ordinance which amends Chapter 4 to adhere to the provisions of Miami-Dade County Code Chapter 5 entitled Animals and Fowl. This section pertains to the definition of uses which shall constitute a kennel for purposes of regulation and to be adopted and incorporated by reference. Currently, Chapter 4 of the City Code limits each household to 3 dogs. The proposed amendment to the ordinance increases the amount of dogs to allow 4 dogs per household. This will be a second reading for the above ordinance. The first reading passed with no changes on April 17, 2013.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Any questions from the public on this item? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Williams? Yes. Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, then we're going to go into Comments from the city manager?
None.
Oh, thank you. Comments from the city attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Councilwoman Wallman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll be as brief as possible here. About 3 years ago, I started a little project for myself called Judy's Closet, and I solicit my friends, family, anybody who wants to donate new or gently used clothes. It's called Judy's Closet, and right now I have approximately 91 gowns, prom dresses, in sizes 2 to 20. And I know there's a prom coming up at Homestead High School on May 25th. So if there's anybody who needs a prom dress, who can't afford to go out and buy one, I'd be more than happy to try to facilitate. If you'll call Heather at 305-224-4454 and make an appointment. I have all my clothes over at the Skills Center. And if anybody would like to donate anything, I sure would love to get them. We also look for men's clothing, women's clothing, because we try to help people who are going out into the workforce, who need clothes to go for interviews in and to work in. So please keep that in mind. And Ms. McCormick, I'm sure that you might know some young ladies that could use the service. Also, I just want to say a quick thing about our Parks and Rec Department. Summer camp is coming up. June 6th is our parent orientation, and that's at 6 p.m. at Keys Charter School. Right now, we have 27 registered kids, and that's after only 1 week. We're going to take a total of 100 registrations, so you better hurry. I have some really good news. Because of a grant that was secured by Gerard Bodie, we saved $26,000 alone. So we're working really, really good with our program. The next thing I wanted to bring up, the last thing I wanted to bring up, Mayor, is I'd like to ask Council if we can direct staff to examine the zoning code to see if we can't find a way to allow private athletic fields in the city, such as soccer. Because right now the code doesn't allow for any outdoor athletic fields. There are a group of people who want to develop private soccer fields, and I just wondered if we could look into that, because that just doesn't make sense to me that it has to be indoors. So I don't know how to, Richard, I don't know how to proceed with that, but
We'd be glad to look at it and give you back a report on it.
Yes, sir. We understand the instructions, so we'll start looking at that right away.
Mayor.
Okay, is that it, Councilwoman?
yes, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Shelley. I'm sorry, Faircloth McCormick. I apologize.
Just very briefly, school is out on June 6th, and I would like to wish all of our schools, our administrators and families a very smooth and safe closing of schools, and to encourage them to be on the lookout for my Summer Sizzling Reading Challenge that will engage our K through 12 students in exercising their intellectual muscles this summer, when they can potentially lose up to a year's worth of learning gains if they are not academically engaged. And the students have the potential to win a week's worth of free uniforms and shoes for back to school. So if our teachers and our parents can be on the lookout for Councilwoman Faircloth's Summer Sizzling Reading Challenge.
Outstanding. Thank you. Councilman Shelley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind everybody about the Military Appreciation Day event coming up Memorial Day weekend. It'll be Saturday, May 25th from 3 to 8 p.m. at Losner Park. Come out there. There'll be food trucks, there'll be bounce houses and kids zones. We have 22 currently static displays, military displays that align up and down Chrome Avenue. We have more than 30 vendors who are already scheduled to be there to promote their products or promote their organizations. It's a free event. And also, so join me in honoring the military. Any military man or woman that shows an ID will get a voucher for the food trucks or for the restaurants locally. And also, if you're a military man or woman and you wear your uniform, you'll get a free raffle. and the winner of the raffle is a $500 gift card to H.H. Gregg. So I encourage everyone to come out, help me honor our military men and women, and just have a good time. So there's also live music and bands. It'll be a great time had by all.
Thank you, Councilman Shelley. Councilman Williams.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor. First of all, let me do a shout out to our camera guy. Today is Larry's birthday, and he's here tonight. He is down, and they do such an exceptional job and great job for us in the city. And so, happy birthday, my brother. Thank you, Mayor. Also, tomorrow we have our Southwest Advisory Board meeting at FICO Williams at 5:30. And then also we are having a Southwest Cleanup Day, which is going to be June the 1st, 2013. And more information will be to come. So please check our website for updates and information. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. In lieu of time, I just want to make an announcement, just a reminder for our community that this Friday at 5 p.m., our annual Relay for Life will get kicked off. And so we ask the community to please join us in this celebration of life and what the American Cancer Society does for our community and our families. So I will be out there with my family in support of the cause. So I ask this community to please come out and join us. That's Friday at 5 p.m. And this council, please, if you could come out there and support it, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. That's it for me.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you. Are you going to be in the Elvis costume again this year?
No, they rented it out. I couldn't get it. So.
All right. I just, one quick thank you to Dennis Maytan and his crew. I brought to their attention and to the electrical department that the lights over there at the basketball court seem to be out over at Harris Field, and they quickly took care of that. And I know the kids that play over there in the dark are very happy, so thank you to them for acting quickly. And then thank you to the manager and his staff for addressing a concern that's come about since Maui Drive has been widened. It's very difficult to cross the roads, either to turn on or to turn off of the road because of the palm trees that are in the median there. So I just want to tell the staff thank you for addressing that problem, as they have put it out for bids and going to make our city roads safer now that we have that major intersection on the road. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Announcement, I have three. Announcement of 2 vacancies on the Community Relations Board. Announcement of 1 vacancy on the Southwest Advisory Board. An announcement on 1 vacancy on the Tourism Advisory Committee. So those are 3 that the public out there, you're welcome to step up and contact the city on those 3 items. Saturday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, Homestead High School had an appreciation trip that they went to Busch Gardens for the children who did well on the FCAT. It was about 250 kids, and I tell you, I'm very proud of our police department. They were there at 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the parking lot, and it made me very proud. Also, that same day at 11 o'clock in the evening, when they returned, they were sitting in the parking lot again waiting. So my hat's off to you, and please tell the department and the chief that we thank you for doing that. There's quite a few children out there. Thank you. That's all I have. And motion to adjourn?
Move it.
All right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, staff.